gates and defeating RNG in game number 1. All I can say is LWX and Hung are absolute ballers who obviously own private jets. There's no way that you could be that confident in your life, in your gameplay, unless you have a private jet, a private boat, or you got your own airline. Honestly, at this point, Lyric, that's your name. And dude, game 1 goes to LWX. Honestly, this bottom lane, I'm so hyped about because Hung gives every support life that wants to play out of their comfort zone because he's got LWX who also wants to do the same thing next to him.
Look, when you have Casual tweeting out Hung is the best player in the LPL, like, change my mind, you know this guy is absolutely correct. LWX, again, picking up MVP, massive damage numbers, massive KDA. You know how it goes in the LPL. He's going to get it. Hung gets the special shout out along with him. Again, together, these guys are just absolutely dominating from what we've seen so far. Only one game so far in the LPL. But up against a team like RNG, very respectable win coming through. They're able to find these kills early on in the bottom half of the map. We saw LWX getting like soul turret gold, soul turret plates going his way. Yep. Always having space to play off of with Hung aggressively going forward. Baytron as well, setting up a lot of these fights. Even Gory, because Gory did get smacked in laning phase. Like, it is what it is. Gory took a step back and realized, hey, I'm going to play for my team, going to play with the package, and just continuously look to group up like this. And FPX were able to close it out quite confidently with full control of the map.
I mean, it's big, right? I think as well, coming back a step, like watching LWX in these fights with how confident he was, you could see how far ahead he was. He got so close to a flame horizon in the end as well. 337 CS on your screen, way above the clock. And it's good to see. At the end of the day, when you have a bottom lane that good and when you have a team that can rally around it, for FPX, a point of strength when they've lost so much. For RNG, Lyric, you and I want to talk a little bit about draft and what we saw on the screen, because we saw a composition that had to get off the bat and have to keep momentum up towards mid-game. A composition as well that never really got to where it wanted to go.
Yeah, Jin set not providing all too much for the composition, right? You're picking it, leave Jin by himself, clear waves. We saw Ming trying to roam, made some headway towards mid. We're using Show's pressure to keep control of River, but not able to turn that into any real tangible advantages. They used Herald, got Bin a bit ahead up in the top side, but still, that was it. You're not able to turn that into team fighting power when there's a Jinx on the opposite side who is outranging you. Corki, Shuri is still behind, but you said it, Hysterics. The big ones, apparently, they always hit. At least they sometimes always hit, so he's still able to put off his damage. Yeah. And you do have enough power coming from that where it's like, okay, well, Jin and Set are pretty much out of this game. Zin's out, not having all this impact. Everything is on Jace and Victor. Victor's not confident sitting in a side lane either, so like FPX have all these avenues and all these options to where RNG are like, hey, we kind of need to look for a pick with Bin, and if FPX don't give us that pick, or we don't set, you know, something cheeky or surprising up, it's very hard to find a way back into that game. Though FPX almost gave him away with that Baron, but in the end, the Thresh did. It
doesn't even matter. That's right. Well, going into the second game, we can talk a little bit more about draft and what's going to change, because for RNG, you know, seeing something like the Jin when Aphelios was available, seeing, you know, outside the normal 80 carry pool that we've been talking about, even though Jin's not too far away, makes me interested to see what, you know, RNG do in second game. Lyric, I didn't catch the side selection for this second one, but I'm sure we'll find out in a second anyway. As we go into ban pick momentarily, let's answer that question. Are we swapping sides? No, we're not. Nope. FPX back on the blue, RNG on red. Similar bans so far, and FPX actually banning away the Aphelios. I think I'm wrong. I believe game 1 was an Aphelios ban, but we didn't see
it was
any of the Vex.
So RNG this time around saying, hey, we will just take the trade of 80 carries. Sure, maybe you get Caitlyn, maybe you get Jinx. We will take the opposing side of that matchup. We feel decently confident in it, would be my guess. Jinx has the range to be able to go up against Caitlyn in laning phase anyway. You're both playing, having the impact later on in the game. I want to see if RNG go with that, or if they have some other spicy option with other 80 carries. We also need to remember we do have Gala, so always potential for some of his old bread and butter comfort picks to come out. Speaking of comfort picks, though, it does just seem like, no, we're just going to get the Jin run back once again.
All right, well, let's see if they run back all 3 picks, because it was the Xin Zhao we saw that didn't get to do too much. And Wei just going to lock that in once again. So I guess you try once more. You think it's not going to be the comp, especially, as you said, going up against Caitlyn.
Now I wonder if FPX will pivot into some kind of Enchanter support rather than just looking towards the Thresh or something along those lines again. Hung has been absolutely cracked, but we have seen Lux come out a lot with the Caitlyn. It was something that Hung also did play in Demacia Cup. We had that cool clip of him flashing forward, landing the bind. But so far, at least in terms of jungle, both teams keeping it stock and standard. More teamfight potential coming out for Baytron with this pick. And I kind of expect this to come out. You have the duo. You're going to play a lot around bot side. This is like a heavy artillery bot lane, in my opinion. You want them in front of the enemy turret, pushing it aggressively, getting turret plates. Once they take that turret, moving them around a map, and really enabling that bot lane duo.
I didn't like that Shanghaı was smiling when Yuumi was on the board. You know, no one that plays Yuumi can really be happy with themselves, honestly. And so looking at the Karma, that's something we talked about a little bit earlier, Lyric. This is one of the enchanters that you said is coming back. And it gets locked in here for RNG.
Yeah, technically a flex pick. Would expect it to go down towards the bottom lane to match with Jhin. Try and offset some of this push that will be coming out from the Caitlyn and the Lux. You have more utility coming in from the Karma than the Lux provides in terms of like the shields, the speed ups, to be able to enable Wei as well. So it's a pick that, you know, goes quite well with his jungler. And now mid lane ban's going to come out across the board. No Corki, no Syndra, taking away a lot of these long range options that do pair pretty well with what both comps have so far. I think for FPX, you probably do need something a bit more beefy in terms of some kind of frontline champion. If not, you will just have the option to play through hard smashing them in the early game with your Caitlyn Lux and trying to set that lane up for success. But if that falls behind, your mid game can be quite rough with how fragile both of these champions are.
And I think as well, if you're talking about something beefy, that means you'd have to run it into Bin in the top lane, right? And with what we know about Bin, with his champions still open and available, Jace may be banned, but things like the Camille are still there. The Fiora, we know he plays as well. So I guess, Lyric, what I'm saying is you can't just run a flat out front line because Bin will look for the counter pick and they'll take top lane through that way.
Ooh, bringing out the Zoe, so gonna have some agency in the mid jungle role. I like that they end up picking mid here, save top lane counter pick for Bin, like you were just highlighting, being one of the big power points that RNG can play around. For FPX, they're just gonna double down and index into more range to play from. I wouldn't be surprised to see this locked in. This was Gory's most played champion in the Demacia Cup. Instead, gonna just go right ahead with taking away the Gwen pick. Are very AP heavy so far. You would assume, again, they're going to go towards another AP option mid. I still wouldn't be surprised for the Victor to just be locked in itself. And now,
so,
FPX running out their comp.
But Lyric, RNG now have the chance to go into the Gwen. And we've already seen Jax versus Gwen, which a lot of LPL top laners have been preferably going into. Bin plays this too. And I'm really curious if he's just going to go for something that can try and power that top lane and make Wei give him agency.
Yeah, and it would set up RNG for at least having power, a strength in the 1-4 later on, right? Jax will be able to win those later trades up against the Gwen. You do have some hold potential in mid lane with things like the Karma, Zoe coming through. Still, FPX will beat you in terms of being able to clear out waves in the mid game when we get to things like contesting mid wave or being able to walk into river. Just Victor, Caitlyn, Lux on the opposite side will be so oppressive. Feels like for FPX, they want to cut you out in team fights. They have a ton of zone control. They'll do well fighting in enclosed spaces with things like the final spark or the ultimate coming out from Victor. For RNG, still feels a bit more indexed into pick with things like the Jhin ultimate and then having Zoe Zinzao as your mid jungle duo. So you're looking to use agency from mid jungle, potentially set up for your top side for success, and then look for picks in mid game with the Zinzao and things like the Jhin ultimate.
I like the specific setup you talked about in closed spaces with someone like Caitlyn Lux. You talked about Victor as well. Something to keep an eye on. And if we're looking at pick here for RNG, a lot more tools this time, it feels like, Lyric. With the Zinzao actually having a bit of support too. Ming on the Karma, something we've seen in the past. Lyric, you and I have been through our fair share of LPL games. We've been here for a while. You're at least 30. And Ming is a big enchanter player. Karma's one of his favorites from history. And it's good to see him back on the pick here as we go into game number 2, where RNG at a disadvantage is not something I thought I would say. Not even close to what I thought I'd say, but FPX handed it to them in game number 1. And going into game number 2, the lane that handed it to them is once again set up for success in the 2v2. We're going to talk about it more going into this, but hey, I'll tell you one thing. FPX have come out of the gates fighting. And in the LPL, we love to fight. Let's see if RNG can fight back running onto Summoner's Rift. It's FPX start on the bot side, maybe looking for that Tri-Brush invade. Excuse me, Pixel Brush. And RNG have got their own plans in the bottom lane.
Yeah, a bit interesting to see what happens. RNG, at least we'll be able to get that ward down. FPX on the opposite side, though. They might find someone. RNG might walk in here. Doesn't look like it, though.
Okay, well.
Nope. No shenanigans, Derek.
No shenanigans. Hey, movement is shenanigans, so that was close enough for me, dude. Bring me into... Wait. It is a topside start. So no one's actually going to be walking past this. That means Beichuan could be starting on the bottom side. Lyric, before we talk about runes and everything else, this could be a really big start considering that it's a Caitlyn Lux lane that was going to do pretty well anyway.
Yeah, this is, I think it'd be pretty huge, especially just information disparity coming out, right? As FPX, you know where RNG are starting. You know most likely they're starting on their red buff, and they're not looking for the counter jungle to your blue side. RNG have no idea where you are. They will find out soon from the path that LWX and Hung take from bot lane, and they will also push, but wait started in the enemy jungle. There's 3 men.
Yeah, Hung's there, LWX as well. Beichuan the flash forward, Hung does it again. He just flashes forward to press the binding, but he gets Mings out as well. How does he always do this, and how does he always get away with it?
Yeah, this guy plays with absolutely no fear, and it's so fun to watch. So forcing out a summoner, I guess it's summoner for summoner in the support role. Of course, Gala and Ming did have a bit of a head start with pushing the wave, so they have been able to keep this quite even for now. I would expect Lux and Caitlyn to be able to contest, but Wei now making his way around. This won't be spotted. Not until it's too late. LWX and Hung hit level 2, so they're going to move up in the wave. They know their jungler's down here, but Wei's going to make his way in. He flashes on top of Hung, who just burnt it for the binding, and it backfires for first blood. Wei with the perfect timing, quite literally. Yeah, I feel like we all know what happened after that game 1, where Gala and Ming come out of the game. They're like, how are these guys allowed to play like this? How are they able to flash forward, play so far up, and not be punished by our jungler? They adapt, they come out of game. Wei goes for red straight down towards that bottom lane to look for that gank. And it looks like we're just going to spam gank bot lane on both sides. And that's going to determine the series. Yeah, it is, Lyric, because it's level 3 Viego who wants to get in, especially with the bottom lane back up here and running. A quick note that Hung now has no summoners. LWX with the heal gone too. And Gala having both of his available, so 1 summoner advantage in this bottom lane. But importantly enough as well, Lyric, Beichuan was vertical jungling. It feels like that's come to a bit of a stop as Wei asserts dominance back in this bottom lane and continues to clear his path. So jungle shenanigans make it interesting here for the early game, Lyric. And for now, we're going back to normality. Yeah, I mean, all he did was take away the blue buff, right? So Beichuan will have a 1 camp advantage. Right now, Wei starting off the bot side scuttle. Beichuan should be able to answer on the opposite side. Looks like Wei wants to try and set up for something else. Doesn't have any camps up, down towards here. So maybe try to see if you can get a gank off, reset, and go top side. Hung and LWX. I think decently respectfully, though. Wants to go for the ward. Remember, that flash still down. So if Hung gets ganked here, it's all up to the binding. And LWX with his flash still available. Gala wants that deadly flourish for the root. We're waiting, folks, because they don't know. Hung's walking in. This is patience, and patience is virtue as Hung's going to get knocked up. The deadly flourish connects as well. Karma helps out, and Ming picks up the kill. Wei once again knows the way of RNG's bottom lane. We have seen if you are willing to sit in a brush for more than 30 seconds, it will pay off. Shanghae's down here now. Blew the flash. Flash. He uses the proto belt and wants to take him out. Wei will pick up the kill, but it's an assist. And RNG all inning to the bottom lane. Something we used to say about this roster. Oh, Shanghae, though, not going to be able to get the recall off. So he's at least going to lose out some minions in terms of mid lane. Gory is pushing that one out right now. So I think that's, small win for the side of FPX after RNG making an amazing play down on bot side. And look, they're still zoning Hung off of some experience from the turret. Yeah. I mean, Lyric, look at the gold disparity from it as well. There's a kill on the Jhin, a 10 CS lead, but importantly enough, there's almost a 2,000 gold lead at 5 minutes in the game for RNG. Shanghae even commits down, hasn't missed too much CS because of it. And for RNG, a much better early game here. And the Caitlyn Lux lane that we've seen pump so many times is in a pretty bad place. And it now puts you in a position as FPX, as like if LWX and Hung are set behind, who do you look to carry? We already hit on that one of the reasons you're picking bot lanes like Caitlyn Lux is to be able to aggressively play in front of their tower, chunk away turret plates, peeky this artillery piece, and rotate around the map as your win condition. Without that, it's like, sure, I guess you will have some pretty good team fighting later on, right? You're going to have this Victor to rely on, you're going to have the Gwen in topside, but you don't have as much of an easy pain point on the map to continuously gank for and play for.
Well, at least LWX for now will be able to pick up close to a turret plate, and Gala is coming in as the net combination with the Piltover Peacemaker hits its mark. But Lyric, I also want to point out that Gold is slimming. Maybe not yet, because Wei is 1v1ing onto Beichuan. Down comes Gory, but he's been zoned off from Shanghaı, so it'll end there. Beichuan just gets down to half HP and zoned out of his jungle, but Wei's a level down. And the Dragon's going to help him a bit with some of that catch-up experience, while Beichuan has to go towards the top side of his map and just clear out a skull.
And I mean, for RNG, you know, for any LPL team, you know when it's Cloud Dragon first, it's going to be most likely a Soul you're probably going to want. We do have Ocean next, so potentially get something like the Chemtech or the Hextech Soul. I'm sure we both want to see that. Be the first region in pro play to get some zombies or some static shivs on the Rift.
Dude, we're close before. I mean, what did we get before? We got the Chemtech Soul, but it just didn't come into fruition because the game was kind of over, so... we're getting close. We're getting close, and I feel like after Ocean, yeah, we'll get one of them. But hey, in this second game, all I can say is that it feels like RNG have adapted really well, and they've shut down bottom lane as we talked about before it can even begin. But now we wait and see if FPX can do the same in the top side, because Bin's down a little bit. Beichuan wants to try and use his lead for something good.
Yeah, FPX even have information right now, right? Because Wei just went to his red buff. FPX did have a control ward on the red buff, so it seems like Beichuan... Oh, no.
Dear Lord. Well, heal's going to save him, though. Hung, LWX has saved his support, but now they're super low. And Gala's just running up to him.
Is it really save Asterix? Because now you're just going to lose minions, you're going to lose more gold, you're going to lose more XP, and RNG's bot lane is just going to get further and further ahead. They will live, but it still feels like they lose just as much even if they had died. So RNG's bot lane saying, hey, you're not the only one that can play this lane dominant style. I love that you hit on when we came into game about Ming and Enchanters, because Ming throughout every meta has always been willing to pull out either Morgana or Karma. And he brought out the Karma, and it is working wonders for Wei now. As long as nothing goes wrong topside, I feel like RNG are in such a strong spot. Shanghaı will continuously have pressure in mid and be able to move first, like we see on the minimap, and RNG will be able to secure control over Herald. Heck, LWX is even down in bot side.
What do you do now as FPX? I mean, LWX wants some solo time. It feels like the Herald's going to be given up no matter what. A next Dragon as well with the advantage they have. FPX in a pretty strange position here, Lyric, and while Herald's going down, FPX are going to back away. And you got to tell me what they plan to do in the next 10-15 minutes to kind of bring this back.
I'm just very surprised that FPX even tried to match rotate, considering they put LWX down to bot lane, right? So have Beichuan clearing his camps in the meantime down towards the bottom half of the map, have Hung walking into river, getting some vision down, and just setting up for LWX to have a good time. And then when RNG get back on the map in their turn to head towards bot side, you'll have complete vision of where they are, and it'll give you more room to look to make a play, right? But instead, FPX is kind of wasting time standing right in front of RNG, knowing they can't contest.
Yeah, and LWX, as you mentioned, was able to get turret plating at the time. So the only beneficial move that they made, Beichuan's still moving down, though, looking for a brush gank, but there was a very deep ward that just spotted him out. It expired as Beichuan moved by, so RNG know he's there, but Ming walks into brush anyway, doesn't care, gets netted, and is dead. Pings even came down from RNG. They put a missing ping over Ming's body. They saw Beichuan, but they still went for the fight anyway.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was just binding into Caitlyn Trap and enough burst being there between the two of it, right, to be able to find that kill. Nice find by the side of FPX. Their bot lane still showing, even when behind, that they still have the killer. And mostly the ability to hit skill shots. I feel like that's been the biggest thing for Hung since the Demacia Cup and coming into this, as we do get to see the replay. Doesn't matter if jungle did get spotted. Binding still does hit with a bit of a ridiculous hitbox, if I am honest. They kind of like rushed past him.
You know, That's a hitbox, dude. That's almost as bad as Nautilus. But actually, to be fair, nothing's as bad as Nautilus. I don't know if you've seen the lollipopping on that thing is insane. So there have been worse.
I don't like when it goes either way, like those ones where it doesn't have to hit you visually and you still get hit, or you have ones like Blitzcrank Hook where like visually it looks like it connects, but the hitbox doesn't connect. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah. You know, as well from River, there's like an elevation thing where it looks like it connects, but it doesn't too.
Yep.
It can work both ways. I didn't even know there was an elevation element in this game. So Jin's W is a chronic effector of something like that, as Herald gets placed down in the bottom lane. Guys, we'll bring you back to the game because RNG about to get first turret blood, and it's all going to be given to Gala and Ming in this bottom lane. And that's worthwhile gold. Way even shadowing to make sure it goes through, and looking for a second charge here. Look at where Beichuan is, and look at where the rest of the team is for RNG. This is going to go through, and there's nothing that FPX can do about it.
Yeah, even Gory realizing, hey, I can't walk into the jungle solo. I could get hit by something like a sleepy trouble bubble. All I could really try and do now is create a point of pressure on the map. Both him and Beichuan do turn back towards mid to push that one in. Get some hits off on a turret, maybe get some plating down. Looks like Beichuan is well going to walk into top side. So still recognizing that they can't match RNG on any play. And all they can do is look to go elsewhere. Sadly, feels like they are losing quite a bit each time, right? They lost turret, they're losing dragon. You got some damage down onto the tier 2 as well. Beichuan's getting some camps as Ming. Maybe they find Gory.
Nice flash forward. The binding's going to connect. There's a flash taken by Shanghaı as well. The Chaos Storm does nothing. And it's another kill actually going over to Ming. The flash stolen once again. Shanghaı uses it forward, but doesn't connect with the sleepy trouble bubble over to Beichuan. And RNG also get the dragon. Well, we're speaking there, Lyric. 2,000 gold in the lead. And I need you to tell me where this goes from here, because Bin has been a very quiet element in the game, but everyone else from RNG looks like they're in a very comfortable position.
Yeah, and RNG even anticipating that FPX's next move will be up towards topside, right? Their bot lane is completely taken out of the game with Gory down as well, and Gory just continuously getting pushed in. Beichuan trying to head up, but now things are, I'd say, easily anticipatable. Anticipatable's not a word. Easily anticipated. There we go.
Yeah.
We're paid to do this,
You got that,
hysterics.
dude. We are
Easily
indeed.
anticipated.
It's our
by
first day.
RNG. That's true. Easily anticipated by RNG. That they're able to know, like, hey, this is their turn for a play. Allocate a little, some members of RNG's side to cover for the Jax. Just go on with their day. Bin's fine not having a massive, I'd say, impact in this early game, right? He's still being able to farm up. Sure, he's about 20 CS down to Shanghaı, which I think makes a bit of sense. Now for RNG, I think you just keep all-inning on your strength. I think Jax should be in a pretty fine position, barring Beichuan and Shanghaı, who try and set up a dive and maybe have Gory either shadow or follow through with TP. But even then, I think RNG are still in a decent position to get more on the top half of the map.
Well, I want to track how those items come across. So, but Ben, meanwhile, actually going for the solo kill. You said he was in fine position, but he wants to take it. He flashes away, looking for the needlework, but he dunks him down. The God Staff Jax, dude. It doesn't matter what you think. Ben just takes a solo kill anyway.
Yeah, pops the ulti. Both have mythics. Bin feeling confident that he's stronger at this point in the game off of his one-item power spike, but RNG aren't stopping.
Well, there's no Chaos Storm big enough for you. Way connects once again. Gory's burning down. He may not die, but he's given up more pressure towards the mid lane. RNG bringing momentum to this game, Lyric. And you and I were talking about game number 1. RNG weren't doing too much. This game, RNG are doing so much.
Let's remember, both in 2020 or 2019, a lot of the bread and butter coming from RNG was Shanghaı consistently looking to move, impact the map, look for these skirmishes.
True.
Again, when I think of a lot of Shanghaë's picks, the Syndra, 2019, the Rumble Jarvan combo he was playing with Karsa, the Zoe, a pick he's always been a standout on. These picks can get involved in skirmishes early on, will consistently push in mid. You look at the vision control that they have down as well, and they're kind of just seamlessly flowing from lane to lane. It also does help, though, that Bin is finding his own solo kill, so you're actually winning everywhere on the map.
That does help. The lane that's 20 CS down, solo killing, bit of a surprise for me. And Shanghaı probably going to get it again. Here comes Counter-Strike, and you know what? We just went through this. There's a blast cone, and Shanghaı has to disappear with no summoners intact, and Bin is starting to be the god. Now, we talked him up to be, while RNG are getting Herald on the other side of the map. You're right, Lyric. They're winning all over.
Yeah, I think especially for Shanghaı not having his ultimate up, I mean, it'd be even worse than the prior skirmish. Definitely going to require a lot of that healing and AoE damage to be able to even try to take a close trade with Bin, as RNG now can just posture up towards the top side. Shanghaı push out this wave. Shanghaı can start hovering up in topside rear if they want to look to drop this now, but instead looks like Wei going to go for the reset. They should be sitting on quite a bit of gold, at least able to finish those plated steel caps and get some more vision, because Hysteric's vision wins games. The enemy can't walk into your space. You get hit in the face by a sleepy trouble bubble, then you go, you put the Zoe copy pasta, and you're pissed off for the rest of your day.
Dude, you can't say, first of all, no swearing. Second of all, you can't say vision wins games, because people in chat and people across the world will say that no, that's 75 gold that can go towards something like a longsword eventually. You know, people don't understand that. So look, only people silver and above will understand what we're talking about here. And honestly, everyone's intelligent. So I know everyone in chat's actually Challenger, by the way. I established that last LPL split, and this is not even sarcasm. Everyone's a legend. So get amongst it, and just remember, as Lyric has been talking about here, apart from Vision as well, remember that he's been talking a lot about how these comps operate and how these side lanes are going to be important. I mean, Shanghaı and Wei have actually just grouped up, and this is the lane that Bin was in. He's gone towards the top side, and the Lethal Tempo Jax is only just going to have to deal with Caitlyn, while RNG is just taking a free turret as a trade, but this is a tier 2.
And let's remember that RNG just got that. They didn't even have to use a Rift Herald, so they still have that available for when they want to try and break down mid. They're getting their 3rd dragon right now, so they will be on Soul Point. Bin able to safely catch the wave near his turret. For FPX, I think you've stalled a little bit of the bleeding in a sense, since you stopped contesting RNG after those failed bot plays, but you haven't been able to pick up too much elsewhere. Now it seems like they're just all in on funneling some items onto their key carries of both Caitlyn and Victor, but I don't know how you find a fight where they are running into you, which is where I feel like both Victor and Caitlyn are really going to get their max amount of agency right, running into things like the gravity field, being able to set up traps in advance, because FPX are continuously one turn behind RNG and just having to control the space that RNG is giving up to make the play where they want.
And you got to remember as well, you know, RNG running into them. Gala's going to get the first shot off as well. The nearly 2-item Jhin with Collector on the way. He's level 11, and he's about 1,000 gold ahead as Wei starting to take jungle camps away from Beichuan. Remember, the Beichuan was ahead by about 20 CS in the jungle, but it doesn't matter anymore. RNG using that lead, and even LWX right now having to net away way too close. As that's a Herald play right through mid. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble, it connects. Hung in a bit of danger. Beichuan has to defend him, but look at this. How far can you go? Beichuan has to get out while Hung is dead. LWX as well. Next up is Bin, who's going to be leap striking in on this. The Trouble Bubble zones him off. LWX, he can't get through. He has to flash away, but the portal jump, the paddle star. That's some mighty damage coming out of Shanghaı as RNG continue to slap FPX in the face in this game. But Shanghaı, he's thinking about it. You know what? He's thinking about it, Lyric, but he doesn't have to anymore, because RNG just can take turret off the back of that too.
Yeah, RNG easily able to pivot back into mid. Beichuan shouldn't be able to do anything here. 2 members here for RNG, even Wei and Shanghaı both in position where it'd be very easy for them to pivot. Shanghaı now going to also try and pick up this top lane turret. Might be able to before Gory gets here. Been having the TP to cover and bot side, not lose it out on any CS. And man, it's nice to see RNG firing on all cylinders. Collector coming out for Gala as well. And we've been seeing this hit comp just come together really well. Sleepy Trouble Bubbles hitting. RNG continuously using the speed up from Ming to run forward to set way up. And it's all going to start here, pivoting towards the mid lane, throwing down that Rift Herald, and bam! Sleepy Trouble Bubble hits, instantly pivoting into the Jhin ultimate. Wei going to throw out the wind becomes lightning. Flashes in as well, I do believe. Going in with the E, securing the kill, and then RNG just able to push them out of their own jungle to make sure they're able to get those 2 turrets.
A couple of kills on the Xin Zhao now as well. Note as well, the Zoe up about 10 CS still, but getting close towards getting that Horizon focus. And Lyric, RNG are on 3 dragons. There's a Mountain Soul coming up, and LWX, he's probably dead. How do you get out of this one? The question that might be an answer pretty much soon. Hung gets a binding down, and here comes the final spark, but Wei's not affected. Trouble Bubble again. Oh my god! LWX doesn't get to play the game anymore, and now Bin's going to do it again. Baytron there, though. This is going to be a 1v2 as Bin's level 13. The counter-strike coming through. Baytron's holding on. There's the ulti. He flashes away, but it's too late. He holds his mark, and it strikes true. But for FPX, what are they losing for Baytron to be so patient?
Yeah, and it just goes to show what we hit on earlier, right? This is one of the avenues, and I'd probably say the best avenue that FPX have to finding gold and ways back into the game is going for these picks on side lanes, even getting a nice objective bounty from it. But sure. RNG should always be in a position where they are able to try to take more off of the map. So RNG at least doing that with the mid turret. For RNG, you don't need to go into anything insane like pivoting for Baron or controlling too much vision topside. You are on Soul Point. Dragon is coming back up in a minute and what would be about 10 seconds now. We're going to see the replay in mid. LWX just catching waves so far forward, so aggressively when you don't really have any vision in the bot side of the map. Your support's not with you, your jungler's not with you. Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands once again, though. And Shanghaı is cracked. FPX Baron!
Oh my god, FPX Baron, they're doing it again! So on point when we know that FPX are always going to Baron at the 20-21 minute mark. They back away this time, but the Baron stares them in the face. It is a must for this team at this point. And look, Lyric, there's a 3k gold lead for RNG. You're now going to tell me what FPX hope to achieve in the next couple of minutes, what we will see out of the side lanes. I need you to give me some conditions where FPX, hang on a minute, find their way into a more comfortable position, because you have to fight for this dragon in 20 seconds. Maybe my question is irrelevant right now because this is going to be solved.
Yeah, and I feel like you're banking on a steal, right? Because you see what RNG's comp can do when it controls territory first. Zoe just providing so much threat from over terrain and being able to throw out the poke as well. Ooh, FPX, though, trying to at least pull them away. I mean, for FPX, right, you're trying to make them make a decision because you know you can't contest them at Dragon. You've already been chunked low. Problem is, RNG followed you. RNG can call your bluff, and Bin now is just soloing Dragon himself. So at the end of the day, FPX is too far behind. Try to contest Dragon, get chunked too low beforehand. Try to then make RNG choose. Sadly, though, RNG were too smart.
Well, that's a Mountain Soul. Thank you very much. And it's going to be a pain for FPX to cut through that as well. I want to point out, I was talking about items before, Lyric, and the reason why Shanghaõ's doing so much damage. He's got the Shadow Flame picked up now as well against a team that has quite a bit of shielding. So he's going to get that max MR, I was going to say ignorance, max MR ignored. And as one of the new items as well.
He will get 20 flat magic pen after someone has been shielded,
nice.
or if they are equal to 1,000 current HP. So, you know, benefiting from some of the damage off of that. Obviously going to pair quite well with his Sorcerer's Shoes as well. For RNG, though, I mean, man, you really need to F this up to lose this game, Asterix. That's all I gotta say.
Why are you swearing so much? Oh my god.
That's a swear. It's a letter. It's a letter in the alphabet.
Oh, that's naughty. This is a PG broadcast, dude. Everyone here's Challenger and they're in the best behavior. So I don't know, man. I don't know if that's just a letter, but
I think I win by technicality here.
Okay, well, as the person who's accidentally been a little naughty on broadcast before, you know, me telling you is actually so hypocritical, so I don't even know.
No, if anything, you are actually the expert on it, so I should be taking your word as gospel.
That's true. But I'm gonna be PG. I'm a good boy. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, for any of our audience that
PG, whatever might happen now won't be PG, as both teams running towards topside jungle.
Parental guidance might be needed. Bin has teleport, but I'm really worried about the Sleepy Trouble Bubbles and Shanghaõ nuking from behind. That Zoe, that's a 300-year-old girl who's got so many Sleepy Trouble Bubbles. You gotta be careful. Shanghaõ hits yet another one. It's gonna be cleansed away, but look at Gala with Curtain Call. He's gonna line them up, and FPX are running for the hills, but Shanghaõ, with his angling, is trying to pick up yet another. It's Baytron who walks over it. It's Bin now joining the fray. RNG just trying to fight so they can set up for something like the Baron or a mid-tier push. Lyric, FPX are just so scared walking through their own jungle.
And you look at what was lost, right? Gala and Wei utilizing their ultimates, but Hung now doesn't have flash. And even Baytron had to use his ultimate to be able to get over that Raptor wall to escape. So some key abilities down. Hung going to be in a very threatened position if he walks forward. Looks like RNG should be able to get this before all the members of FPX are able to get here, though.
But Beitwan doesn't have ulti, but he has the flash available. It's at 3.7k. FPX can steal this, Lyric. They're going to be careful for the jungler of FPX. I mean, Beitwan spotted out in the back of the pit. Baron is still aggro, but no one's hitting it. Bin to zone them off as Gory has found him, but that's going to be a Chaos Storm at the ready as Shanghaı going in. Beitwan gets it! He stole it! Thank you for the objective bounty in FPX. Baron is their name.
You know, whenever you ask how does a team get back into a game, I don't feel like stealing Baron with a gold bounty should be the answer. But FPX do it, and they chain it into another bounty. Gold pretty much even off this point after one steal.
Oh my god. Oh, Beitwan.
Welcome to 2022.
True. Look at the gold gained, and Lyric walked me through how this was stolen away.
I mean, it's stolen because RNG flipped it right in front of their faces.
Oh,
Gwen
no.
zoning off numerous members. Early smite coming out. RNG just, you know, teeing it up for FPX to be able to come and get everything they want. So, I mean, luckily for RNG, they do still at least have Soul. That's not going to go away like FPX's Baron will. FPX now potentially able to use some of their power, right? Get a push in mid with the Baron buff and try and get somewhere where you can set up and have the members of RNG come into you. But you can see RNG doing such a nice job of playing over terrain so they can utilize the advantage that Zoe brings.
Did you say RNG have to what for FPX to win the game? That's a big question if you ever want to repeat that, because I feel like RNG have done that. As this might be a pick, they're separated. Wei has to disappear, but FPX with the Baron buff are pushing around mid. Beitwan feeling pretty strong, and Trouble Bubbles are being avoided. A big yes here for FPX as Beitwan engaged on, but the Paddle Star doesn't connect. FPX were roaming up in the mid lane, but still, none of them have been caught. Look at what Shanghaı is doing in the side lane, Lyric. They're just buying time for this Gwen to start pushing down into turrets. And even now, the fight actually might be brewing. Wei has found a target onto LWX and Hung, the binding going wide. This is a 3 versus 4. Look at what Bin's doing. This is a miniature base race, but the problem is that Bin doesn't have the Baron buff. It's not going to be as fast, Lyric, and they have to get back and deal with Gwen.
Yeah, both top laners going to backing. They realize that Bin is looking for the reset as well, but still, more gold funneled into Shanghaı. Quite nice. Both teams, again, we're in a spot where we should have never even been here to begin with, right? Gory now going to go try and pick up blue buff on the top half of the map. Going to make his way down because we are going to be fighting over an Elder Dragon. Look at wards, though. RNG still squarely in control of the area. They will spot out any members of FPX who do walk up. Shanghaı might go for a reset. I don't think he has recalled. Does still have TP available if he does want to look for that. Bin, though, doesn't have TP up just yet. It looks like it will potentially be up by the time Elder spawns. Yeah. So I think RNG is still in a pretty decent place in terms of map position. And
back not stop
Hung's ult does no damage.
Yeah, unfortunate. Wei spotted in river. Teleport now comes through from Shanghaı. You mentioned Bin's TP.
He goes in.
He's just walking down, and that's a quick engage. Beitwan actually caught out. He has to Heartbreaker out. The curtain call in a great position as Hung's going to be blocking it out, but he almost dies because of it. Shanghaı ticking him down. I think that was a Gale Force stolen away. And this Zoe means business. 5 versus 4. Hung is not fit to fight. And Lyric with Beitwan gone as well. RNG have a pretty good chance of just taking the Elder outright.
Yeah, RNG going to try and do better than they did last time by having Bin try and zone off Beitwan. They do got to be careful, though.
But there's no ulti from Beitwan, no flash this time. Surely he can't steal it. The Trouble Bubble also with a great location. And Gory, he has flash himself. He wants to get over the final spark. No. Smite this time secures his all-in fight with Elder Dragon. FPX need to get the hell out of there. But Shanghaı may be immune. But Gwen, can she survive? The ticking down with the burn wasn't enough. Lucky to get out of there with their lives. But RNG get the objective. And now they're in a prime position.
Yeah, RNG playing with a lot of respect there, right? Realistically, they could have just kept trying to run forward, run them down. You have Elder Soul, but it seems like realizing, hey, again, running through a choke point, there could be Jinx traps already down, could be the gravity field from Victor. Let's just get our resets off, come back on the map, we'll still have Elder. Do our due diligence to following the process. They already have bot wave pushing into the enemy. They can take control of mid now, and with a bit of pressure down, as Wei sees the opportunity, he goes in, flashes forward. following through with the ultimate from Gala. And I think RNG, oh, wait.
Well, Gory shouldn't be here, and with Elder, he's about to get executed, but by who is a question. It's Gala in the end. Chaos Storm goes down and does a bit of damage, but ladies and gentlemen, that mid lane is dead for quite a while. It's a 5 versus 4 with Bin pushing down mid. That Elder ready to do some damage for the next minute.
Oh, and especially this turret is one that Zoe just loves to siege because of this long wall that you do have.
Oh, no.
Super Trouble Bubble.
Oh, Hung, give
and
it,
Hung
and
goes
Hung
down.
taketh away. There you go, 3 versus 5. I'm going to keep on counting, Lyric. That base is going to be in tatters. A Shallow who looks for a response in the bottom side, but he soon has to back as well.
Yeah, Shallow, who once again just trying to pick up some gold on the opposite side of the map, knowing that they can't match because of the fact that Gory already did get picked out. This is going to open up an inhibitor for RNG, potentially 2 inhibitors with the fact that Hung is still down for 15 seconds. RNG just taking everything on the map right now. Gold lead not really mattering at all, but still, you have Soul, you have Elder. RNG are 5-man strong, and in the end, they're just going to back off. Baron coming up in 30 seconds, so RNG probably going to want to try and get some more vision control down for that.
But Lyric, my question to you is, what does FPX need to win this game? Look, you said it once, and I gotta tell you, with RNG, with how they played the last Baron.
Let's learn from hindsight. Steal Baron.
Okay. Well, can he get near? Beichuan ignoring it for now. This Baron is just going to be taken down. Look at what they're doing. They're going to go up the super minion wave, which means it's going to be quite slow. RNG get a free Baron this time around. Beichuan not even going to try. They're just looking for the inner turret, the inside tracks there. And getting a little bit more gold so they can get these 3rd, 4th item on the key carries, Lyric. FPX getting confident now that they have objective bounty once more.
Yeah, really smart choice, right? They're still finding ways to get something off the map, knowing that they can't match them. So pushing in mid-wave, get another objective bounty, keep gold in their pockets. I mean, heck, for the past like 10 minutes of the game, they haven't really been too far behind in terms of gold. Problem is when after this replay, if you look at where the item disadvantages are, it is looking pretty grim in some roles. We're going to see here, though, Wei and Ming just running around after Gory trying to push out this wave top to a neutral position. Does end up getting tethered by Ming, and Wei and Gala easily able to follow up. But look at those items. Look especially at Gala versus LWX on the opposite side.
Pretty big, right? And we've been talking this whole game about how the bottom lane in the early phase took control. The only reason that FPX are really in this game is because RNG, they lost that Baron. It was a huge steal from Beichuan. RNG still trying to close it out, but the trap set up, the line of scrimmage here, Lyric, and the wave clear that you talked about in draft is keeping them alive and delaying the game even further. But LWX, hang on a minute. Maybe the game doesn't go too much further as the curtain call is lining up for the Caitlyn. But she'll get out in the end. Hung gets the final shot.
I mean, they're even having Bin put up pressure in the mid lane. Wei, though.
Oh, he's dead. He's nuked. He's nuked. He's absolutely nuked from existence. Shanghaı picks up the kill. That's a different player. As Beichuan heads back towards the fountain. That's triple inhibitor now down. Shanghaı's joined into the fray though, and Shanghaı actually going to be on the spot here, but he's got a fake flashes. There's Shanghaı going down. Shanghaı picking up the counterpart, and both names sound very similar to me as Wei goes on in. But this Gwen, so healthy. Lyric, I'm scared. I'm scared for RNG because for Beichuan, he wants that little reset, but Bin's jumping back in. The Jax is scary as the Gwen, but she has true damage and is immune. FPX, they're going to lose one more. Beichuan actually gets taken down in the end, and Gala picking up that kill doesn't do too much, Lyric. We're going to have to wait for Elder again. We're going to have to wait for the next Baron. The game goes on.
RNG at least able to fully open the base from FPX. We did see FPX utilizing their composition, tethering RNG because they are so close to their base. RNG not wanting to overcommit too much, but LWX, Gory just continuously hitting Wei as he's weaving in and out. Luckily for the side of FPX as well, able to pick off Shanghaı. They buy themselves a few more minutes of breathing room, but 3 waves of supers pushing into your base. Okay, that'll be some nice gold, but RNG going to keep full vision control. We're going to see Shanghaı going in for the ult with the Q. Does take a ton of damage coming out from the ultimate from LWX, and then Shanghaı comboing in with his ulti.
He's
Then Here's
scary.
Wei continuously trying to go in, but members like Gory and LWX able to hit on the way out, right? Because RNG not wanting to overcommit too much, so a bit of kiting coming into play, and not too much committal once things like the curtain call are down. For RNG, that's what we want to play, right? Open curtain call, give...
Collector?
Good question.
I think it was Q. The particle disappeared as we've got another fight on our hands. Hung's actually gone golden. The teleport in the middle. Shanghaı lyric, as I was saying in that last replay, that's the person I'm scared of right now. He's almost got full items, and he does true damage. Level 18 Gwen in front of Elder. I see the time to snip. And for FPX,
at the same
feels
time,
like
right?
a reasonable call.
Oh, though, we see at the bottom of our corner, Bin looking to put some pressure on the side of FPX. Bin doesn't teleport available. Yeah, they're just giving it up.
I mean, H1, he's on the rim, but this is going down fast enough where for FPX, they've kept the Gwen, they've kept their jungler, but Bin just pushes in a wave. And there's nothing FPX can do. RNG will pick up Elder number 2. And time to run it into the base that has less than no defenses.
Yeah, for FPX, what was going through their mind, right, is sure, they can try and flip it on another steal in a place they have no vision is very hard to go into, or they can back off, try to farm up. I don't know if any of them were close to goal of maybe picking up another component, try and play out the way they did before of letting RNG aggress into them, try and kite them out under their turrets to a point where RNG are too low and need to back off and you get yourself more time. I don't think it should work like that. You're up against Elder, you're up against Soul. RNG can try and just keep pushing this in and threaten with 3 waves of minions.
Just looking at that wave clip for the time being, though, RNG moving to the final inhibitor. The damage they're doing is still significant to Shanghaı, who's jumping forward. And Gwen's ulti once again available as Shanghaı is the front line at this point, strangely enough. Wei trying to target them down. Look at what RNG are doing. Trying to gear up all the waves to come through and hope that Shanghaı hits a binding once more. It's onto Beidchuan. He actually might be caught out in the curtain call. One last hit as well, and the jungle would do it, but that's not enough. Shanghaı, again, doing a lot of damage even against the Elder. And FPX are holding out here, Lyrics. Look at the wave clear at this late point in the game. For RNG, they need that pick immediately. Even onto Shanghaı, Beidchuan starts it off, but that's so ambitious. The wave clear continues to come through, but the jungle is dead.
Oh!
Ambitious is the right word to use because now Shanghaı finds a pick and that starts it off for RNG. 5 versus 4 to try and end the game. Gory's running away, but he's blasted as well by the Elder buff too. We're looking at Shanghaı, who is underneath the turrets. He's got the needlework, but as he goes golden, he can't finish off the blow, and he too will be executed. We're going to game 3 here for RNG versus FPX as RNG finally seal the deal in game 2.
There were some hiccups, but I'd say overall, very promising game coming out from RNG. The way they utilized their early pryos, they adapted from last game in terms of dedicating the resources down towards their bottom lane. They brought the Enchanter in this time around. Shanghaı constantly pushing and moving. And in both games, I think very clearly being the better mid laner, at least in this series, between him and Gory. And then, I mean, Shanghaı,